Hi, Marshall here. This is my third video, Rolling Man Cave, here on YouTube. And I'm going to show you some more of the exterior features today. So let's take a look, and then we'll go up and take a look at the solar panels up on the top, and I'll show you how those are mounted. So continuing on, the window, it's single pane and it's sealed with butyl rubber, just like all the bolts on the exterior walls that I've drilled holes through the walls on. And this butyl rubber stuff is incredible because it stays pliant down to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit and up to 150 degrees Fahrenheit. It doesn't shrink or expand, so it stays sealed very nicely. And you just coat the 2/3 of the bolt that you're passing through and put a big glob on the back side of the bolt head, and then when you press it through, it squishes out around the sides, sealing everything completely watertight. I mean, this stuff is the best. They use it on car windshields. That's why they use it, is because of its properties that I just described. Anyway, going on, these fuel doors are also insulated, and the one here, you can see it's got the lock on it for locking with the deadbolt, which is nice. And it's the perfect size for my dog Grace to stick her head out. And here you can see her bed there. So she's got a bird's eye view of everything on the outside, and she really likes that a lot. Another thing about the jacks, using these car jacks, I use my 2.5 ton aluminum jack to jack up the rear of the trailer here, and then I insert the jack and I take a lot of the weight off the wheels and the suspension, so that when I'm camped there's hardly any weight on the tires. Sometimes I jack it up high enough where I can rotate the tires, and it's just to prolong the life of the suspension and the tires and everything. The uprights for the solar panels, again, those are steel and purchased on Amazon, and the bolts that hold those in place pass through the upper wall, inner wall, exterior wall beam, inner exterior wall beam, all the way through. They're 1/4 inch bolts, 2.5 inch, and they're sealed with lock washers and then Loctite red sealant on the inside. And I do check those. I've already checked them at the 6-month mark, and they're all still secure. So as you can see, I've put a lot of effort into making this thing sturdy. In fact, the solar panel mounts up there and the solar panels together actually increase the rigidity and the strength of the walls of the trailer and keep it from flexing too much. So it's actually added to the structural stability of the whole trailer, which is kind of nice. It was kind of an inadvertent side effect. Let's go up and take a look at the solar panels. Here you can see one of the security cameras. There's 6 of those all the way around the vehicle. They're constantly recording to the cloud and to a 1 terabyte, 3.5 inch hard drive. So I've got 2 weeks of video constantly available, and it overwrites the oldest video first. Here you can see, I'm going to turn to horizontal portrait from portrait, and here you can see I use aluminum door thresholds as kind of air rams for the front, and also to protect the panels from stones that might get kicked up by the SUV or by trucks. It also adds to the rigidity of the front of the structure. And I'm going to wiggle it, and you can see this thing is rock solid. It moves the whole trailer. And these aluminum slotted pieces They were part of a angled adjustable solar panel mount system that was intended to be mounted on the top of a roof, or I had intended to use them on the roof of the trailer, but I didn't know what kind of trailer I was going to get, and I ended up with this aluminum trailer that doesn't have a strong enough roof for walking on. So that's another reason why I mounted the solar panels up high. And you can see, I'm going to angle it so you can see the whole setup. There's 6 of them, and they're mounted using bolts and trifold rivets with the aluminum. And everything is just locked down with overkill. But I left enough space between the beams and the solar panel so that they can flex independently, because I know the steel will flex differently than the aluminum. So that gives it a little bit of play to expand and contract differently for the different materials. These panels also keep the trailer cooler by acting as a giant sunshade on the roof. And I attached eye bolts at regular intervals along the uprights where I can attach. You can see the corners of those sunshade wind sails. So those are nice to have too. And right now I have one in the front, over the front door in that area. So Grace, my dog, has some shade over there in the mornings. She really likes that. The panels are 6 325 watt Canadian Solar residential panels. I got them on Amazon, and I paid just over $1,000 for them with shipping included, which was fantastic. It was like the first set they had sold on Amazon, and I don't think they're available anymore, but you can buy them on eBay or from local solar retailers or other retailers online. They're very high efficiency. Their nominal voltage is 43 volts, and when they're charging, they're up in the 50s in voltage. I have all these panels, each 43 nominal volt panel, wired in series. That means positive to negative, positive to negative, positive to negative, all the way around. And that way I've got about 250 volts of DC solar current going into the solar controller on the inside. And you can see the cross members, and they do have a little bit, the panels that sag towards the center, but that actually works out fine because it allows for rain drip off, which is nice too. The panels do get dirty. It really doesn't affect the solar charging that much at all, if any. And I've also seen videos online that say it really doesn't affect them. But occasionally I will go through a large car wash and get up the ladder here and spray them off with some water, just to get the bulk of the dust off. This vent, I sealed it up because I didn't want that airflow coming in. The trailer is meant to house snowmobiles initially, so it's meant to have help with getting exhaust fumes out of the trailer. So I needed the opposite. I needed it airtight, and I do have. I sealed the entire interior of the trailer with 1.5 inch Silverboard R6 rating, which keeps the trailer sealed pretty much airtight. So it's nice for the winter cold. This vent here up by the upper left side of the window, that vent is for the clothes dryer. I have an electric clothes dryer inside. I'll take you around the other side here and show you. This is that butyl rubber that I use for sealing bolts that pass through the walls. It's like putty, like silly putty. It's quite a bit sticky, so it sticks to stuff, especially metal and plastics and things. So it's got good grab and everything, but it's easily available. Probably not at your Lowe's or Home Depot, but definitely at Amazon.com or maybe an Ace Hardware store. Now coming over here, this is where the wires from the solar panels enter the trailer, and I put this metal box plate thing that I found at one of the BLM sites. Somebody was using it for target practice and they left it. I cleaned it up and painted it, and that protects the gland which passes the wires through the wall to the solar controller charger inside. And the panels weigh about 55 pounds each. I mounted them during the wintertime by myself and kind of used them, lifted them up over the front of my head using both hands and arms and a ladder, and was able to get them up there and slide them into position and then bolt them and rivet them down. They're very well secured. The mountings have stayed tight. Nothing's gotten loose yet. I'm sure they will eventually. We'll need tightening, but that's just something to monitor on a regular basis.